Yes, good afternoon. Now we will see about in operating system Unix. So you can have the many users. So who are the users in Unix? So you have the many users in Unix that is logged into the system simultaneously, each running many programs. It's a kernel job to keep each process and user separate and to regulate access to system hardware, including CPU, memory, disk, and other IO devices. Now, users, groups, and access permissions, how we will get that we will see one by one. In Unix or Linux, there is a concept of user and an associated group. The system determines whether or not a user or group can access a file or program based on the permissions assigned to them. Apart from all the users, there is a special user called a super user or the root, which has permission to access any file and directory. There are types of users. One is the owner group and all other groups. So owner is nothing but owner of the file or directory, and group is nothing but group of the related users. And types of permissions. What are the permissions we have using Unix? Read, write, and execute. So read means read the file or the list files in the directory. Write, add new content to your file or add new files to the directory. Execute, access the contents of a file or access files in the directory. So how can we get the permission to access? So there are the three permissions of any file directory or application program. The following list the symbols used to denote each along with a brief description, that is or indicates that a given category of user can read a file. W indicates that a given category of user can write a file or write to a file. AX indicates that a given category of a user can execute the file. Access permission. One can easily view the permissions for a file by invoking a long format listing using the command, that is list ls. The permissions for this file are listed at the start of the line, starting with the RWX. Now, this is the first set of 9 symbols define owner access. The next set of 3 or WX symbols define group access. The last set of the symbol 3 defining access permitted for all other users. Then listing the content of a directory, it is ls is used to list the contents of a directory. If the command ls is returned with a parameter l, then the command list contents of the working directory with the details. Example, there is a dollar symbol ls hyphen l. There's many security issues we are facing while we are using the multiple operating system in a single system. One is the trojans and backdoors. So the trojan packages are used for getting backdoor access and transferring botnet malware and ransomware to a computer with a Linux. Most people mistakenly believe that Trojans cannot run on Linux, or they are wrong. Dual booting with other devices, another area of the potential risk is when the users dual boot Linux PCs with the Windows and other devices. This way, your data is at risk because it gives hackers another door to access your PC. All they require is the username and password to only one of the accounts, and your security is compromised. Then malware attacks, many are there, vulnerability and then cyber attacks, then denial of service attacks. Next, what is shell? A shell is a program which provides a user interface with a shell. Users can type in commands and run programs on a Unix system. Basically, the main function a shell performs is to read in from the terminal which one types, run the commands, and show the output of the commands. So this is what the shell does. Users, your command or the shell script is there, and it is sent to that Linux shell, and it is converted to binary language by shell. And now Linux kernel understand your request, which means the user request. According to that, it will react. Now, C shell, what is the difference between the normal shell and the C shell used in that Unix? The C shell was written by the Bill Joy at the University of the California at Berkeley. The C shell is a command processor which is typically run in a text window, allowing the user to type and execute commands. And what are the features of the C shell? Customizable environment, abbreviate commands, analyzes history, remembers commands typed before, job control, run programs in the background or the foreground, shell scripting. One can write programs using the shell keyboard shortcuts. Then these are the drawbacks of the C shell. The C shell could not be used for much more than the most tribal scripts. Some of the major drawbacks are big input and output controls, lack of functions, and confusing syntax due to a lazy command interpreter. So these are the difference between, in this video, we saw about, we have discussed about the what is the difference between the prompt shell and C shell. In next video, we will see the how to implement coding into that Unix and Linux. Thank you.